Hi guys, this is Mia from Mimo Design Laser Files, and today I'll show you how to make this adorable Nutcracker countdown ornament. I painted this guy yesterday. I did a little mistake in the file and didn't align this one, so I'll throw that away and paint this new one. The files come with two types of spinners or countdown wheels, one with the sugar plum fairy and one with a walnut. Once you've cut your Nutcracker, he has a lot of tiny details, but I found out that they weren't small enough to fall through my own honeycomb bed. I have a 80-watt Chinese laser similar to Omtech, so I guess it will be fine. Let's see. First off, I'll start by showing you how to assemble, and then I'll move on how to paint this one. So for this one, I'm thinking that I'll stick with the fairy wheel. When you've cut your parts, it's very important that you sand. I use a Ryobi sander, grit 240. You sand the front of the wheel, the back of the wheel. This one is the most important thing. Also, your back, sand it inwards, and if you're going to leave it natural, sand the outer side as well. And the same with the front, back and front. No one likes these residue marks, so you should never leave a finished product with these because it looks terrible, honestly. So let's see. I have to sort these again. There you go. So for this fairy wheel, you have an outline of the sugar plum fairy, and you have the sugar plum fairy itself. I want to do the same as I did on this one. I painted the back, this whole guy, I painted with acrylic paint markers. So I'll just go ahead and paint the outline. And since I know this will be showing on the back side, I'll paint that as well. Don't worry if you get paint down on the wheel, because this will be hidden anyway. And there you go. When you're sanding, it's important that you don't sand this inner piece. You want this to be as thick as possible. So the sugar plum fairy, I used metallic markers for this one. I'll just wipe over. Also, I like to paint the hanger part. I could give it a little more so you can see it. Just like this. So, once that's done, you can start assembling. Place the wheel, take the inner part and add glue. I'm always using wood glue from Wienerville, but because I'm doing a tutorial, I'll be using some fast drying glue as well. Super glue from LightBurn, I think it's called. So add a little amount of glue on the wheel. Don't get too much on, because if it runs over and hits the wheel, it will be stuck. Once you've put this in, you align the wheel to the side of the backer. Push down gently. And you want to make this a little bit higher than the wheel, so I'm using clamps, or staples, sorry, with a stapler I found in my local hardware store. Looks like this. And since I'm doing 4mm wood, I use 8mm staples, but you could add a piece of cardboard, plastic, acrylic, or maybe even cut this in apart from thicker material. So if you're doing 1/8 inch, you might want to do just a tiny bit more. But as said, I use a stapler. And the only purpose for this, it's a bonus that it attaches the inner part, but the purpose is that you make just a tiny bit of additional space before you glue on the top. So now that that's done, I'll add glue on the top. And because I want to have it dry fast, I'll add a little super glue. And again, be careful that you don't get glue on the wheel, because it will get stuck. Place the front and align this hole to the hanger. Like that. And use clamps. Oops. Slide it a bit. I think I have it there. And you probably want to assemble the ornament before layering this guy. Like that. And the little fairy, you just glue on top. Make sure that you don't get her feet stuck to the wheel. I made a lot of space on this one, so you want to keep a little distance from the feet and the front. This should work. So I'll let this dry and show you how to paint this guy. Cap on. So I never sand my wood when I cut, mask my wood when I cut it, which is why the residue looks a bit terrible on these. But when I'm painting with acrylic markers, I like to sand them just a tiny bit, so the paint doesn't lift the wood. So I have this very fine sponge, so I'll just run it over fast. Just so you can feel that they are smooth and doesn't have any grains that are lifted. You might be able to see what I mean on this guy. So for painting, I have a habit of trying different things, but I just got, oops, where did that go? There. I just got these new acrylic paint pens that I'll be using today. They are the same that I used on the blue version, so I'm thinking I'll go green on this one. Did I remember the nose? I did now. There you go. So I already tried some colors and I'm thinking I'll be going with these. These are dual tip colors, so I actually have a matching color somehow in each end. This was the blue one I used for the hat and the shirt. So I'll try to recreate this effect. Let's see, this one is light. Oh, this one is light, the other is dark. I think I'll go ahead and take the light one. And this is pretty easy because you just wipe over, as I already wrote in the scored instructions. So you want to paint the hat. I'll be giving it a second coat. These are cheap pens that I found on Amazon. I think they were around $25 for a set of 36 pens, which means 72 colors. And I actually think they do an amazing job for the price. So the only place you want to be really careful is this hair part, because that will not be hidden. Everything else will. That's our robot, iRobot, beeping in the back. I think my husband is turning it off. For the rim, I'll just try this darker color. Maybe I should have shifted these. I think I'll find a darker green. How about this one? Maybe. No, this was actually lighter. It's not exactly the colors I predicted, but I think it might do good anyway. So let's just continue so I don't waste your entire day. When I'm not satisfied with the colors, I sometimes change them after making the tutorial. So I'll not be gluing this together until I know how it turns out. So you want the hair, and I was thinking brown for this guy. Just to do it a little different than the first one. And again, this line is the important one. If you mess up the rest, it doesn't really matter. I definitely have to go back and change the colors on this one because I think it looks a little bit like a leprechaun. And I'm doing Christmas, not St. Patrick's. But anyway, you can see how these are painted. The important part is the teeth, because they'll be showing through the mouth when it's layered. So I want them white. And even though this marker is almost empty, it's the best white marker I have. So I'll have to see if I can find some new ones of these, because it covers so nicely. There we go. Whoops, I forgot the beard. He's looking very leprechaunish, in my opinion. But I'll go ahead and change the colors afterwards. Like I said, I like to try things differently every time I make a tutorial. That's why I prefer making files instead of selling physical products, because I can do a new file daily instead of making the same stuff every day. So once that's done, we'll take the head, and I want this one with some gold color. I had a beautiful, was this that one? No. Okay, I'll do this one, I think, yeah. So I want to paint this part. It's the buttons on the coat. Also the shoulder pad. This is a metallic paint marker, acrylic paint marker, also bought from Amazon, and also cheap and Chinese. I like cheap. Sometimes it's a waste of money, but sometimes you make a great buy. And this one for the head. So for the heads, I got some skin colored pens with this new set. Where did it go? Was it this one? I think it was. Yeah. So you just want to paint the head. Be careful that you don't hit down into the engravings. I'll be painting the inner part of the eyes white. You could do a color filling of the engraving. I showed that with the polar bear, I think. Countdown ornament. And I also did it on the reindeer. I think I'll add a little bit of color from the other one. I think this is, it's the wrong pen, I think. There it was. This was the color. I don't want him to be pale. That's the head. And it will go on top here. The head rim will go there. This one up here. Shoulder pad. Shoulder pad. I'll make his little nose. The colors might not be that bad after all, but I'm still thinking I'll change them. So, the inner part of the eye, I like to do white as well. So I'll just kind of wipe them over carefully without hitting the paintwork I already did and without going into the engraving. Like that. And layering the beard. These ones, I don't know if you can see it, but this side curls more than this side, and you can kind of see how they are supposed to turn from the scored lines. So this one was actually downwards. It's supposed to look like that. So they are not exactly straight, but you probably are able to see how it will turn up like. So that's it. That wasn't too bad. Once done, glue it to the front. Assemble like I showed you before. And let's see if this guy is dry. Remove the clamps and give the lever a nice turn. Mine isn't stuck at all, so that's perfect. So now I'm ready to add a ribbon or twine or whatever. And that's pretty much it. For the walnut, I want to paint that as well. So, okay, I'll find a color that I like. But I want to paint this scored walnut before assembling as well. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned a few things. And I'll see you soon.